Photographers, are you frustrated with camera settings and the editing process? Are your photos not turning out the way you envisioned? You're not alone. Like many, you might feel overwhelmed by the maze of settings and editing software. Photography shouldn't be this complicated. Trust me, I know how it feels. I've been right where you are, juggling settings, battling with edits, and watching my visions blur into disappointment, wasting countless hours trying to figure it all out on my own. But it doesn't have to be that way. So what's the solution? My photography school, of course. But why would you want to learn from me? With over a decade of experience and my work featured globally, I've cracked the code to breathtaking photography. My classes and courses have helped thousands of photographers just like you, not just to take amazing photos, but to create art. Let me be your guide. With an ever-growing library of over 100 videos teaching you everything from what gear to use to the nuances of how the slightest difference of light can affect your image. What's more, if what you're looking for is not in the library, as a student in the Academy, you have a direct link to me where you can request specific tutorials. But who's the Academy for? I'm glad you asked. It's not necessarily for beginners who are picking up a camera for the first time, although there are a lot of beginner-level classes. It's geared more towards the photographer who's been dabbling for a bit and is ready to better their craft and drastically sharpen their editing skills. If you're a complete beginner, consider signing up for the free course. It will get you well on your way. Quit doubting your every move or getting stuck in endless edits. No more wasting time trying to figure it all out yourself. Learn from someone who's already been there. I guarantee if you follow the classes and implement the lessons into your shooting, you will see huge results in a short period of time. Sign up for the Academy today and go from struggling with basic shots, unsure edits, and hours lost in frustration to an empowered photographer telling compelling stories through images and edit. So what are you waiting for? School's in session. I'll see you in the Academy. That's right. School is in session. You guys ready to see some editing? Hey. Hope everybody had an awesome, what even day is it? Tuesday? I had 10 minutes to get everything ready and everything was like crashing as I'm setting this all up. So thought I would play you all my little Academy intro commercial. Anybody on the chat? Go ahead and comment saying where you're watching from. Make sure everybody can hear me, see me. Is my audio on? Yep, we've got audio. Hopefully we got visuals. Hey Denise, hope you're doing good. I have not heard from you in a long time. I've actually got a few things set up here. Combined, so let's try to check this out. So this is the image we're going to be working on today. We're going to be going through the entire editing process. But I want to talk about a few things with this image first. Things that that people just don't really think about a whole lot when you first get into photography. At least I didn't. I got to remember to look at the camera. I got so many screens to look at. You guys want to see what I'm seeing? Let's see if I can see how fancy I can get over here. Here's my current setup. Ignore the mess. It's a mess. I've got my Wacom tablet over here. Actually, I have two of them. They're working in conjunction with each other because this one, as I said in the last live stream, does not have any buttons on it. And it's not touchscreen. It works with the pen, but it's not touchscreen. This one, on the other hand, it is touchscreen, and it has buttons, and I have my actions programmed into the buttons. So that's helpful. I've got my BenQ monitor over here, which is color calibrated, and this is just mirroring that for now. So I can edit and check the colors at the same time. So yeah, that is my current setup. Now, what I was getting at, yes, very busy life. I was actually staining my bathroom just prior to coming in here. Everything works good. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Where are you all streaming from? I've got at least 4 of you. Instagram's not working for some reason. I've got both my Facebook pages, my Facebook page and my personal profile, as well as X and YouTube. And it doesn't let me know, apparently, if anybody's viewing on YouTube or not.
There's nobody viewing an X yet. Don't have a very big following over there just yet. I'm going to start working on the socials. It's so hard to keep up with everything. This busy, crazy life. But anyway, enough about that. Let's start talking about this photo. So what I was getting at was a lot of people don't think about the setup and the direction and all the little intricate things that go into making a photo. I'm trying to go back in my mind, my own thought process before I started getting into photography, and that was the gear, typically. I was looking at other photographers whose work I admired, and the first thing I would look at was the gear, what gear they were using, as I think most of us do, because we all have this misconception that the gear is what makes the image, and of course that is not the case. A lot of it goes into what happens before you ever even hit the shutter button. So in this photo, the way I have it set up is the light obviously is right back behind her. The sun it's about, what should tell me what let's see if I can pull up what time this was. Does it say in here anywhere? October 20th. This was 2 days ago. Yes, I do know how to work my editing software, I promise. Nope, I can't find it. I figured surely it would let me know in here somewhere what time it was. I guess not. It probably wouldn't matter anyway because I probably don't have the time set up on my camera because I'm a boomer and I don't think about those kinds of things. And it's not important anyway. The point is it's about 5 o'clock when I was shooting. Maybe closer to 5:30. Sun's back over here behind her. We're in the shade, but the sun is also reflecting off their house, which is in front of her, just a little to her right. And there's also a lot of open sky. So she is in the shadows, yet she is well lit from the front. It looks like I used a strobe, which I did not. This is all natural light. This is just the way I set it up. And there's also this separation because of how well lit it is, because we have the light behind her. I'm surprised we're not getting a whole lot of rim light, but that's because of how diffused the light is going through the woods. She literally is sitting in the shadows. Sorry, I've got flies in here flying everywhere. I had the door open in the studio earlier today. So this is straight out of the camera. I used my 200 millimeter, hold on, let me trying to get this thing to operate here. I'm using the camera to stream with. I used my Sony a7 IV and my 200 millimeter f1.8 lens. I had to stop to think about that for a minute. And of course, I shot wide open. I shot 1/500th of a second. Had my ISO at 250. So, I mean, white balance was 5900, I believe. And of course, a lot of this, if you're shooting raw, can be corrected in post. I guess I could split my screen so you can see me, and so I feel like I'm ignoring you guys when I completely cut off, but I feel like you guys get tired of seeing my face too after a while. So, shot this raw. What I like to do is start in Lightroom, which is where we are over here, and do all my basic color correcting, exposure correcting. If I need to do anything with the composition, I do all of that typically here at the beginning, right here in Lightroom. So first off, I'm going to go into the composition here, which apparently I've already messed around with this one. I'll just go ahead and reset that so you guys saw exactly straight out of the camera, because I've already processed this. I'm going back and doing it again. So I was laying on the ground, so it was a little crooked there because when I'm laying on the ground and trying to shoot through the lens at the same time or through the camera, it's hard to keep things exactly straight. So I'm going to come in here and I can use this tool and use something in the background that we've got these trees back there where we can create sort of a straight line. I'm going to go off of this one actually. Do something like that. And we're going to go with a 5:7 aspect ratio. And I don't want to have too much negative space down here on the bottom. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And in order for this image to be balanced properly, I'm going to bring this over. So bring her over a little bit because her legs are coming off over here. So I need to have a little bit of weight on this end of the photo. Right about there. And anywhere in the process that you guys have any questions whatsoever, I would appreciate you asking the question so I have something to talk about, because it's very, very difficult for me to continue a conversation with nobody. I mean, you guys are there, but I can't see you, I can't hear you, so the chat roll, it's right there. Be very, very helpful. I know there's at least 2 of you still on. All right, so I am going to warm this image up a little bit. Right about there, 7200. Pull the exposure up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and hit auto to kind of get it in the ballpark and then start messing around with it there. I like that it gets me pretty close there. I do want to pull the shadows. Right about there. It's doing pretty good. I'm going to bring the clarity down a little bit. And the reason I'm bringing the clarity down is it just softens the skin a bit. So just watch right here as I pull the clarity down. It just softens the image a little bit. Maybe around -10. And with colors, there's really not a whole lot. I really like how it looks straight out of the camera. You could mess around with this a little bit. We are in fall now, so you could see if you can tweak these settings a little bit. There's some greens back over here. If you want to pull the greens more towards a yellow, you could do that, but it's really not going to affect things a whole lot. I do like to sharpen the image a little bit. Let me see if I can not zoom in so much. We can mask it by holding Alt and separate her from the background. So right around 85, and now we can sharpen. Maybe around 80, set details around 50. Yeah, when I first started, Denise, I had decided to switch everything to full manual in order to teach myself how things worked. And so I was editing the same way for a while, but after you understand what everything does, you are allowed to be able to start using auto to get you kind of started. So yeah, I usually hit auto to get me a good starting point and then make adjustments from there. So that is pretty much all I want to do in Lightroom. Where did my details go? If I zoom up a little more, you can kind of see the sharpening effect there. This is before, after. It's extremely subtle. If you look around, like the details are like her eyelashes, her hair, her eyeballs. You can see the difference there. It actually softens like the skin, but then it sharpens, and that's because of this masking. See how the dark areas are areas that are not being affected, and the white areas are the areas that are being affected. So let's go ahead and jump into Photoshop. I'll right-click the image, edit in Adobe Photoshop. And Photoshop is confusing me because I had 2 versions of Photoshop open somehow, some way earlier, and I noticed one said Photoshop 2025 and one said Photoshop 2024. So I don't know what happened there, but it looks like it's pulled up the 2024 version, whatever. And in here, I will be using a lot of my actions. So it's going to be some speed editing. If you guys want a more comprehensive step-by-step process, I have a whole lot of watch me edit videos on my website where you can see from start to finish, where it's completely step-by-step. I don't speed through it or anything. I don't have a whole lot of time this evening, so I'm going to be kind of rushing through this. But if you have any questions along the way, that's kind of what the advantage of going live is. If you guys have questions, I can answer questions. That way, while I'm doing things, you're like, wait a minute, what did you just do there? I can answer that question. So I'm going to start out by duplicating my background layer. And a lot of times I like to click this lock off That's because it gets in the way sometimes. So analyzing this image, it's fairly simple. It's already very clean. There's not really anything distracting in the image at all. This is a very clean image straight out of the camera. I do want to separate her from the background so I can enhance the lighting behind her a little bit without it affecting her. And one of my actions that I have programmed into my Wacom tablet does exactly that. It just separates my subject, makes a different layer, it makes a blank layer, and then it makes a layer with my subject. So then that way I can take my brush. Photoshop keeps, when I go live, it hides things. So I have to go find them on other monitors. Here it is. So I can see what my color looks like. Looks pretty good. You could even take the color picker and just pick like up here somewhere next to the light. That gets you pretty close. And I'm going to just set this to 100% and make sure I'm on this blank layer right here. I'm just going to dab this right about here. Now, obviously that's a little bit too much, so I'm going to back that off a little bit. I'm going to adjust my microphone here. Hope that's not blasting y'all's ears out. You guys let me know if anything's too loud or too quiet. I haven't figured out how to get any feedback on the audio or the visual. The visuals I can see, but the audio I have no idea. I just have a little waveform that indicates that there's audio. So I know there's audio, but I don't know if it's decent audio, if it's like blasting out everyone's eardrums, or if you can barely hear me. We could also do a little bit of dodging and burning here. Got another action for that. And I've got my actions programmed where, let me come up here. And the actions are available on my website. So that would be Philip Homiser, Photoshop Actions Pack. All these are in there. That was the cutout. Where'd it go? Subject cutout. We have programmed to F2. So I have F1, F3. We got F2 over here. These all do different things. I've got frequency separation, quick dodge and burn, manual dodge and burn. Oh, actually, I don't think y'all have this one, the quick dodge and burn. You have the manual dodge and burn, hairbrush, autumn colors. I don't know. I think you guys have that one too. This matte color blend, the extra details brush, logo, teeth whitening, bokeh glow, mask subject, which is the same as subject cutout, I believe, and this painterly effect. And then this one, I don't think you guys have this one either, which is finishing up. It's just kind of one I made for myself, where when I'm done, I hit F8 and it auto saves to multiple different places. It makes a full resolution version for my client, and then it makes a version for social media. So it's optimized for social media, and that version has my logo on it. So that's pretty handy dandy. Alonzo, thank you so much. Audio's good. Good. I hope I'm not butchering anybody's names. So what I'm going to do with the dodging and burning is I usually have it set to something pretty low, like 10% opacity. I need to come in here, and I am not great at dodging and burning. So I'm just going to hit the highlights just to make her pop out a little bit more. So I'm just dodging right now. I do like to get kind of a streak across the face right there. And then when I'm burning, I do like to pull the cheekbone out a little bit. And I know sometimes it feels like it's not doing anything, but if you turn it on and off, you can see it's doing something. I do like pulling the highlights out of the hair a little bit. Where are you all watching from? So far, it looks like I see all Facebook. I don't know that. I mean, I haven't. I'm streaming in multiple different places right now, so I hopefully I'm getting comments from all of the platforms that I'm streaming to. That would be. Can I reply to these? I'm gonna try something real quick. I don't know if I can reply to these. I can. Did you guys see that? Cool. I didn't know I could do that. Looks like it'll only reply to Facebook and YouTube, not X or obviously not Instagram, because Instagram's not working right now. I don't know what the deal is with that. All right, so here's my before and after dodging and burning. I do want to come in here and show you guys something with her eyes, and we could pull this out a little bit with the dodging. Is we've got this catch light. It's not great. If I was standing up, there would be more of it in there because she would be looking up slightly, and there would be more catch light in her eyes. But the majority of the light is coming from the sky, which is pretty high up because there's also a hill and trees and everything down here. But we could pull this out just a little bit. You can just barely see it in this eye. I was curious to test out the chat function because I could send you guys links or something. In fact, I wonder if I can try something right quick. I recently, oh boy, let me move everything over here. I got a lot of different things going on here all at the same time. At the beginning of the stream, I played my intro, well, my countdown, and then gave you guys a little preview into my academy. And I want to just see if I could share a link. My goodness, come on. It's going to let me. I don't know if it's going to let me. Oh, I know what I'm doing. What is this? You know what? I'm going to just put it in manually. Doesn't want to copy paste in there. So anyways, I've got the new website all set up. I transferred everything over into earlier in the year, and all the courses, classes, actions, and all that stuff is now in one place on my main website. It says, "Oops, something went wrong. Try reloading the page." Are you guys still with me? I don't know what went wrong. Oh, it looks like it took away the link I put up there. It probably won't let me share links for some reason. Of course, probably thinks I'm spamming everybody. But anyway, it's just my main website, philiphomister.com. Go there if you haven't been there in a while. I've got my academy set up, so if you guys want to check that out, I put a lot of work into that, and I'll do a little shameless plug at the end on that. I'm gonna try sending this one more time. If it doesn't send, whatever. Denise says works. What works? The link? Did I send you the link? Oh, the stream is still working. That's good. Well, I sent the link again. Let me know if that showed up or not. I see little check marks, so I'm guessing we're good. We'll wait for the thing to crash, I guess. All right, back to it. So we did our dodging and our burning. I'm going to do a little hairbrush. Here's my hairbrush action. And this is a lot of fun. Usually what this does is just kind of smooth the hair out. Denise, did that link come through? I have not gone live in a long time, and I have this thing all set up to run on multiple different platforms and multiple different cameras and monitors and audio. This is a $1,300 Hollywood shotgun mic you guys are hearing me through, but I gotta tweak it to make it sound a little bit better. Just haven't figured all that out yet. So yeah, this brush, it just really smooths the hair out. The link works. Fantastic. Good to know. These first few streams are more or less tests to get all this figured out. I'd like to start going live more often. So yeah, that's what the hairbrush does. I really like that. And now I'm going to create a little bit of a silhouette here, or vignette. Not a vignette. kind of a vignette, but not. I want it to be very subtle. This is obviously too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this off at about 50%, starting from where the sun is over here. It's just kind of pulling down towards her, and it helps if you are using black rather than white. There we go. This is, again, another action. All the actions I'll be using are available on the website. So this is before and after, but that's, in my opinion, way too much. Anything I do to my images, I want it to be very, very subtle. So it's just little tiny tweaks, a whole lot of tiny little tweaks that create the whole image. Maybe, yeah, I'm fine with 70. That might be a hair too much, but I'm okay with it. And then from there, I have a special action that is actually only mine, but you guys have everything that just happened here. This basically what it did was it added the paintly effect. Let me just kind of go down through here. This paintly effect. Let me turn these off one by one. So all this does, it's very, very, very subtle. It just creates sort of this, almost like it's a painting look to it, but it's extremely, like I said, it's extremely subtle. It kind of softens the image, and it just gives it that look where you're kind of like, is this a picture? Is it a painting? Like, I don't know, can't quite tell. And then after that, I have sharpen on here, so we're sharpening a little bit more. But I do want to be careful with the sharpening, especially around hair. Sometimes it makes the hair really sharp, and what I like to do is take the sharpen layer there and just paint it off certain areas that it might have gone a little too harsh. And it's, like I said, typically hair. I like the hair to stay somewhat soft. So I'll go around and make sure to paint it off the hair. But like other sharper details, like her shirt, the book, just makes it pop out a little bit more. And then, of course, it put my logo up there. And I was actually had a conversation with a student the other day, and we kind of got on the subject of presets because I misspoke and I meant to say actions and I said presets, and he said the way I feel about things. He said it the same way that I tell people, and that is, a preset is kind of like auto. Get over here so you guys can see me. It's kind of like using auto in a camera. The camera doesn't know what kind of picture you're trying to take, and your preset doesn't know what kind of picture you're editing. And so the preset may be designed around a specific type of image. So let's say you have a moody, woodsy feel, and this preset like really pulls out the greens and gives it kind of this dark, moody look and whatnot. Well, what do you think is going to happen if you add that preset to a super bright desert scene where you got harsh lights, harsh shadows? It's not gonna look right at all. So I try to steer people away from presets because people have this misconception that they can just buy presets and slap it on their images and they're done. And that's just not really the case. I actually see photographers do that all the time, and it steals the possibility of you having a style, essentially. And you also are not going to learn that way. Now, you could create your own presets. In fact, and I have a few in Lightroom that I use. What did I do with my Lightroom? Only because, and I actually have not used any in a long time, but occasionally I will use a preset or create a preset if, let's say let's say like when I was doing weddings. So I'd have 100 very similar images. So I'd create a preset for one, and I'll just apply it to all of them, and then I'll go through and make very small adjustments, and it really significantly sped up the process. And of course, I wouldn't use the same preset on all the images because there's some pictures taken inside, some outside, some during golden hour, some in the middle of the day, some in the shadows, some with flash. It's just there's no one size fits all when it comes to presets. So I try to steer people away from presets. Actions, on the other hand, is repetitive tasks that you find yourself doing over and over and over again. And action can really speed up the process. So like I could edit this image that I just edited with you guys in the last, it hasn't been that long, 10, 15 minutes. If nobody's watching me and I'm by myself in the studio and I'm going through these, I can get through these images in just a couple of minutes without compromising the quality of the image. And, whereas it used to take me, 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes on an image like this, just because there's these repetitive tasks I'd have to do over and over and over and over again. And like let's say, for example, cutting out your subject, I have to do that manually, or, before we had AI that could do it. And then, the dodging and burning, I'd have to create the dodge and burn layer, and the hairbrush, I'd have to create that layer, and my matte color blend, and the painterly and the sharpen, and I just had to create all of it from scratch every single time. So actions are super helpful in that aspect. So let's see if I can get back to my image over here. So this image is done. This is a done image. Here is our before. Here's our after, our Photoshop before and after. So when you're done, you see a huge difference, but along the way, notice that it's just small little adjustments. There's, this little thing, that little thing, and it all adds up into the completion of what is now your completed work of art. So hope this was informative to you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Before I go, just want to make sure you guys have any other questions, any suggestions on what I could teach on next. I've been wanting to start doing more lives, and in the lives I will probably I'm recording this one. This is the first time ever recording a live. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I'm going to start including these probably in the academy. I'll have like a live section where I have all the lives and put them in there, which I think would just be a treasure trove of information that people could go through. A photographer sees all the details. A photographer who's been doing it for a while, I remember when I started, you see none of the details. That's the thing that was baffling to me, was why can't I get my image to look like this? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, it's because of all the details that I didn't see before. So again, if you guys are interested in the academy, go to my website right there on the homepage. There's a lot of information on that. I'll be updating that page a lot here in the next month, month, and just including more information in there. Because on the academy side of things, I'm also still kind of building things out. It's fully set. It's set up kind of like YouTube for photographers. I have over 100 videos in there, and they're all categorized. Portraits, edits, live sessions, weddings, maternity, snow, you name it. I've got them in there. And if it's not in there, I have a section where my students can request specific tutorials, videos, and I will add it to the list and stick it on in there. So if that's something you guys think you'd be interested in, go check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm going to go get my kids ready for bed, get myself ready for bed, and hit the sack and do it all over again tomorrow. See if I can wrap this thing up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Denise, you're very welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are doing great, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Photographers, are you frustrated with camera settings and the editing process? Are your photos not turning out the way you envisioned? You're not alone. Like many, you might feel overwhelmed by the maze of settings and editing software. Photography shouldn't be this complicated. Trust me, I know how it feels. I've been right where you are, juggling settings, battling with edits, and watching my visions blur into disappointment, wasting countless hours trying to figure it all out on my own. But it doesn't have to be that way. So what's the solution? My photography school, of course. But why would you want to learn from me? With over a decade of experience and my work featured globally, I've cracked the code to breathtaking photography. My classes and courses have helped thousands of photographers just like you, not just to take amazing photos, but to create art. Let me be your guide. With an ever-growing library of over 100 videos teaching you everything from what gear to use to the nuances of how the slightest difference of light can affect your image. What's more, If what you're looking for is not in the library, as a student in the Academy, you have a direct link to me where you can request specific tutorials. But who's the Academy for? I'm glad you asked. It's not necessarily for beginners who are picking up a camera for the first time, although there are a lot of beginner level classes. It's geared more towards the photographer who's been dabbling for a bit and is ready to better their craft and drastically sharpen their editing skills. If you're a complete beginner, consider signing up for the free course. It will get you well on your way. Quit doubting your every move or getting stuck in endless edits. No more wasting time trying to figure it all out yourself. Learn from someone who's already been there. I guarantee if you follow the classes and implement the lessons into your shooting, you will see huge results in a short period of time. Sign up for the Academy today and go from struggling with basic shots, unsure edits, and hours lost in frustration to an empowered photographer telling compelling stories through images, confident in every click and edit. So what are you waiting for? School's in session. I'll see you in the Academy.